What is up? What is up? Welcome back, my friends. Another video here on YouTube, and today we are going to talk about hunters again. Because, well, I mean, I hear from you guys, and I hear that it is a topic that is it does help you out. Breaking down how I think about flying hunters and some of the smaller techniques in between just a full-on flight has helped out some of you, and so we're coming back with another video talking about another technique that I use as I'm flying hunters, and if you watch my streams you'll see me do this a lot. So let's head to the game here. We're gonna use 3 different hunters to demonstrate this. First will be Pathox, second will be Gunner, and third will be Ronin. And we'll demonstrate basically doing the same thing. Now, you might ask me, okay, what is this thing you're talking about? What are we doing? And so that is specifically shooting early, shooting on the turn, as we're coming to a new island, shooting before the towers have a chance to recognize us, before we've actually completely turned and focused on that island, before our dragon has squared up to the island. That is a lot of what we're learning. If you have practiced how a lot of her techniques of sanding and then shifting, or sanding and blinking uses this technique all the time. A lot of the disable spells, this is really important. So, but for those of you who have not, you are who this video is for. So let's hop back into it. All right, let's find a base here. As always, we're kind of doing this like we do on stream. We're just talking about flying, and you're gonna see me. I'm gonna do a little bit more editing. I'm gonna try and slow down some of these videos, but overall, the entire video is gonna be one long video with just maybe some cut up moments where we rewind and check it out, and possibly slow that down so that you can kind of see at what points I'm firing and what we're doing here. So let's start off with this. Well, let's actually go maybe something a little bit bigger, maybe not quite that big. This is the one we were at before. Let's see if we can find something else here. Because I don't want to show it. I mean, the point remains the same of when you're firing. Wow, that is very fascinating. Okay, the point remains the same no matter what towers you're facing. It just feels different when you come around, you turn around, and you come around on an island and you just blow it to pieces, rather than kind of having to work through it like it was a normal sized base for my dragons. And we're having a little bit of trouble because fort is going on again. I know I happened to make these last 2 videos during fortification event, which definitely skews things a bit as people have riders off their perches and stuff like that. Let's try this base. No matter what, we'll get the point across for sure. It just is a matter of, will you be able to, will we actually beat it or not? This is a little bit bigger than Pathox would normally handle, but that's all right. That's all right. So let's go on. What we're going to try to do is, as we come around, if we look here, as we come around to the kill island, we're going to essentially try and cast chill early, before the dark flak, the fire flak, and the ice flak have a chance to actually see us and actually fire on us. And so we'll cast chill, and it should hit right as they begin to fire, and which will freeze their shots on us. So that's what that's what the goal is. And let's see how we do. All right. Here in the front is going to be just kind of, we actually have something way in the front. We got to go through all the little towers, all the lower level towers. One thing you will see me do sometimes, especially when I'm flying for wood and things, sometimes I'll underestimate these towers and not be really paying attention to what level they are. I kind of just always treat them as junk towers, and sometimes you got to be a little careful. every once in a while there can be a a real tower in here that could actually hurt you. Not in this case though. All right, so I'm gonna precast Chill, and as we come around, there you go. So you could see that what we're gonna do is we're gonna slow it down, and you can see that the shots of the Dark Flax were actually stuck into space. They were stuck there as Chill hit because it's a freezing spell. They were stuck there, and we didn't take any damage from that. We took damage from the perch a little bit after that. We then blinked to further avoid any other damage. We would have wanted to if there was a defender, just because there's a good chance they would have also queued up the mages, and those would have rage drained us. Right, so we would have wanted to go into spectral form or a cloak, depending on the dragon that we're using. But nonetheless, that is the concept, is to come around, and we're gonna just finish out the rest of this base really quickly. All right, so you see the concept. It's a pretty straightforward one. I basically am putting I'm flying on an iPad right now. Let's see if I can get that up there in the camera shot. Not really. But so if you have the iPad, I'm kind of positioning on a turn that I'm making to my right, to the dragon's right. I'm kind of placing my finger on the further third of the I guess the right third of the iPad, and as that centers, my finger centers on the 3 towers, that's when I'm casting. You do have to be careful. Sometimes you can get out in front. You can cast it way early to where it actually doesn't, like, the game doesn't register that it can apply. I'll show a quick example of that. We can just do this really fast here. Once we do it, we'll just swap. I'm not looking to actually beat it. This can happen with any dragon, so it does take a little bit of practice. The device that you're playing with actually can come into play a little bit with that as well. The iPad interacts a little bit differently than my phone does, but so it's things you want to practice, things you want to test. So here we go. That was super early. You saw that it hit and Chill landed, but it didn't actually do any damage to that blue mage. And you can even get earlier to where it won't register at all, and it'll basically, you'll see the attack spell is out of range, or something like tower's out of range, that little message. So if it doesn't work, you kind of want to adjust your finger, figure out what that sweet spot is to where you can still cast it early as you're turning, before the towers start to see you, so that you stop any of their super shots, but late enough to where it is in actual range. And different spells kind of have different slight difference of ranges. So let's find another one. We're gonna go with Ronin this time. This is the same concept, except with Ronin, it's not necessarily a disable spell. You could use Entrap in this way, but I'm actually going to use Execute this way. So let's go on this base, and so my goal is going to be to execute these 3 towers right here. All right, let's get ahead and get into it. As I'm going into it, I'm thinking still about, okay, what are some of the other towers I'm going to see. We're actually going to try, and we have some red mages on this side, so we're going to actually try and entrap those as we prepare for things. All right, so we did that. We did entrap them. Let's kill that. Kill that. We're going to actually switch to Fireflak as we kill it. Fireflak immunity, just to avoid taking any damage, and then get back up our Darkflak immunity. All right, and here we go. And there you go. You see that I basically did the same thing there. As I was turning, I cast early, and that was that landed before the towers actually had a chance to even see me, and before they had a chance to really do anything, they were dead. I think in that case, it was even before the Dark Flak actually fired. So, again, we slow that down to make it a little bit easier to see. And then we'll finish out this base really quickly. It's really not about the rest of the base and beating the base. It's really about this concept of firing early. All right, the last one we're going to do a run with. The last one we're going to do a run with is Gunnar. So, the interesting thing about Gunnar is that Gunnar has his freeze ability, and his freeze ability allows you to do this, but allows you to actually, depending on how you position your fingers, you could conceptually cast it on every single tower as you come around. Gunnar takes a lot more practice, and I haven't used Gunnar in a while, so I might actually be a little bit out of practice. We'll see. We'll see here coming up. We're gonna go. This is a 200 defense of 200 million. What is my Gunnar? Gunnar has been, like I said, he's at 400. All right, that's. We'll look at something like 2 to 3. I won't hate that. Let's make sure it's a full base. 6. And this is actually 2 kind of separate kill islands that we need to address. Actually 3. Look at that. I don't think Gunnar's gonna actually be able to handle that. Here's one. Here's one that we'll try. He may actually die on this too. It's above his power level, but the concept will be there, and we'll get to kind of to practice that and see that. Okay, so that was unboosted. So boosted is a little bit higher. All right, let's go. Let's see how we do against this. So our goal is going to actually be to come around and freeze 5 towers. Like I said, it takes practice. We can definitely get the first 3. We'll use a triple tap to get the front, but getting the back is always the the trickier of the 2 techniques. So we'll come around here first and freeze all those. And if you saw, I either missed the red there or something. So here we're going to try and get all 5. I'm going to use 2 hands to do this. And we actually cast late there, trying to get that. We did get it down, but it was late. All right, we're gonna try and do this one more time, and I'm gonna actually just focus on doing the front 3 rather than getting all 5. It's the same concept. It just takes practice. Like I said, so many of these things, so many hunter techniques take practice, and they vary from hunter to hunter, which is kind of crazy. And from hunter to hunter, and really it's the spells. The way that each spell works is slightly different, and so we're going to we messed up that one. We're gonna do this one more time. We're gonna try and do the more simple of the 2 because I'm out of practice using this dragon. I haven't used him since really his season. I knew that I was getting Ronin, so I stopped focusing on using Gunnar and focused on working with Ronin and getting Ronin, and he kind of shifted to be my other main hunter besides Pathox. So here we go again, making sure that those towers aren't going to hurt us, aren't going to rage drain us. And at this point I'm going to cast, and you can see, there you go, we haven't actually taken any damage from the Flax. Now we do. And there were ways. I mean, partially we could have precast Healing Mark to grab some health back, or not Healing Mark, Hunter's Mark. We could have cast it on this monument. There are a lot of things we could have done to like actually fly and possibly beat this base, but the concept remains the same. So that's what I wanted to kind of talk about. That it's a technique that actually applies to a lot of different dragons. You can use it. Frankly, a lot of these techniques can be applied to sorcerers and to warriors as well, and to the new invoker. But people freak out so a lot of times when we talk about hunters and all the tapping and casting of spells and managing rage and all these different things. And so I wanted to address specifically hunter techniques, and most hunters utilize this in some way and can really use this to avoid storms, avoid the earth flak from protecting bases, avoid taking damage by destroying towers like we did with Ronin, or disabling towers before they can actually fire on them. I hope this helps. Make sure to smash that like button, to subscribe if you haven't and you enjoyed this video, and feel free to comment. Let me know if it helped, if you already knew it. What are some other things that you might be curious about flying hunters, what you're trying to figure out, where your struggles lie. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good one. Make sure to come check us out on Twitch. We are on there Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time. Look forward to seeing you all. Peace.